Hi there and welcome back to Triplicate, home of interesting electronics. And today we're going to take a look at this dehumidifier. Now we have a built-in cupboard we use to air the clothes out once they washed, come out of the washing machine, which has a little electric radiator in on a thermostat, and also this dehumidifier in just to dry the air out so things dry quicker. Unfortunately, it never seems to do anything. It never seems to collect any water in its water collection thing at the bottom. So it seems to me it's not doing what it should. It should collect some water. So I thought I'd turn the camera on and we'd have a look at it. Okay, so it's got the main unit here and quite a chunky power supply, which claims 13.6 volts 5 amps output, so that's a reasonable amount of power. And then the main unit here, and it's plugged in, so if we turn it on, its on light comes on and it whirs. There's a fan happening somewhere, and if I put my hand up here, there's air coming out of the top there. So it's doing something, but I ran it for 2 hours this morning and collected not a drop of water, and it's not particularly damp in here, but then again it's not particularly dry either. So I then took a cup of what was then near boiling water straight out of the kettle and put it there, and in, I don't know, another half hour, 3/4 of an hour, it switches off automatically when you take this out, we collected, oh there we go, we can see that, a little dribble of water in the bottom. So it's doing something, but I'm sure it should be doing quite a lot more. So, shall we take it apart and see what it's got inside it? Okay, so we have 4 screws and a screwdriver which I think might undo them if we're lucky. So let's take them out. No, there we go. Come on. 2. 3. And oh no, yeah, 4. There. Looking in the wrong place. So, yep. Right, so we have also 2 screws in the bottom. Which are tight. Gotcha. So, I don't want to lose it. It's still on the screen, yeah. Come on. Okay, come apart now. It seems that most of the weight is in the back half, and I've just lost a screw on the floor. Not clever. No, and there goes another one. So how does that work? You can see this in here, somehow hinged or clipped, I don't know. Hold that up so you can see it. Okay, it's come away there. Don't make me chisel you apart with a screwdriver. These are just tabs. Alright, I give up. Screwdriver time. There we go. Okay, so these little things just somehow clip in. There we go. So let's take that off. So can we put that there and have a look at what's in here? So there's a big heatsink with some water vapour on, and there's a block of polystyrene. It's on edge. Okay, there's a big heatsink which does have some water vapour on, and behind that there's a block of polystyrene, and there's a fan outlet there. Should we plug it in and see what it's doing? Crunch. There I wreck all the casings, and it's never ever going to work ever again. I've got 2 screws out of 4. Okay, so we need to put this back in here. Okay, so the way this works is, and incidentally the penny's just wedged in to keep the water collecting pot that way and keep it running. Nothing to do with its operation. It has what's called a Peltier cooler in it, which is behind this polystyrene block, which basically you put a current through and one side gets hot and the other side gets cold. So this side is getting cold and the other side is getting hot. So what happens is there's a fan, you can hear the fan running, and take my word for it, there's air coming out the top there. The fan draws the air in through the grill, you can't see that in mine, passes over this, goes under here, cools the hot side and comes out the top. And water condenses on this heatsink on the cold side and eventually drips down into the collecting pot. So it's basically working. I'm not sure how much you can see, but there is water condensing on the heatsink here. So I'm curious to know how cold this is actually getting. So should have set this up before I turn the camera on. There we go. So we have our thermocouple plugged into our meter, and I have a plastic clothes peg, and I am going to endeavour to clip the thermocouple onto the heatsink there. So that is showing 7 degrees. No, that's 6 degrees. Which I would say is absolutely fine. He's doing his job at that. Shall we see if we can, I have to do this by hand, push it down onto the, right down onto the, no, base, like that. Come on. And we're going 4-5 instead of 6-7. Okay. So I don't understand why it doesn't collect more water if it's There's got ice on there. Okay, well I'll leave it running and see what happens. Okay, so I left it running a bit. I didn't measure the temperature again, but eventually there was ice forming on the heatsink here, so got to conclude it's certainly capable of getting cold enough. So I thought maybe the air was getting pulled by the fan through the bottom and there was actually no flow over this, and there just wasn't the damp air getting onto the heatsink. Or would it be a heatsink? Cool, I don't know. Anyway, there wasn't the damp air getting over there to actually take a significant amount of moisture out. So as you can see, this is a piece of a plastic document wallet I've chopped up and taped around the outside. So I'm going to plug it in and see if we get any more condensation in the pot and the bottom. And I'll need to run it for a while, so I'll shut you down and bring you back. Okay, this has been running a bit, so I will take the thermocouple and try and measure the temperature on the heatsink, whilst giving you, the viewer, a wonderful view of the back of my hand. And that, out of the camera you can't. Should we try? And that now is 14 degrees, so that is probably not cool enough to actually condense any water. So we've gone too far the other way, and yeah, I can't see any. It feels cool, but there doesn't seem to be any condensation on it. That's plan B, I suppose. Okay, so we've cut down our I suppose, air director plastic thing to about half the height and let it run for a bit. So should we see what temperature it's getting down to. So that's about 10 degrees. So it is pretty dry in here. So that probably is about the dew point. And I don't know whether you can catch that on camera. No, don't think there is any condensation. But what I might do is actually just tape round. I'll turn her off. Shut up. Tape round the front here, so the air's got to come in at the top. And most of it go over the cooling element, and I didn't also notice I want some tissue in here to drive even more down there. And then I might try it in situ in the clothes dryer and see how it does. Okay, so here it is in situ. It's been whirring away all night. Shall we see if it's actually collected any water? No. So, pull that. Oh yeah, there's water on there, and look at that, there's actually an appreciable amount of water in there. So I think our plastic, which you can't really see because I use clear plastic, our plastic air deflector, so all the air goes over the element, has actually worked. But that's with it running continuously, which is 60 watts worth of power. We have to say, is it worth it? Really, we would want it to come on when the humidity gets past a certain point, I guess. And I've also put my little weather station thing in here, which is showing, well, it's showing 48 for the humidity now, but it was showing 52 when I opened the doors, and obviously the drier air is blown in from the room. So what I'm going to do, I think, is connect it up so it comes on when the little radiator comes on, so it's not on all the time, and then I'll see how much water it collects at that. Okay, well, I think I'm going to wrap it up here for what I hope's been an interesting little excursion into the world of dehumidifiers. If you're interested in thermoelectric cooling, which was how a dehumidifier works, there's this Wikipedia article on it, also listed in the description for the video. If you're interested in humidity and dew points and so forth, there's this Wikipedia article. Again, I'll put a reference in the description for this video. And while I was looking around on the internet, I discovered you can buy these, as you can see, pretty cheap, combined temperature and humidity sensors. So do we feel a project coming on here? I think we do. So watch this space, and for now, if you like the channel, please subscribe. Leave a comment if you've got one. Thumbs up would be nice, and I'll catch you next time. So from Triplicate, it's goodbye. Goodbye.